Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Deadwood series. This is episode 2 of season 3 and it is called I Am Not the Fine Man You Take Me For. Last episode, we were basically following the subplot of E.B. Farnham running against Saul Starr for mayor. It's like a re-election, I'm guessing, and they were both preparing their speeches to have a public debate, but of course, Seth had a meeting with Mr. Hearst. It ended kinda sourly. Seth went downstairs, assuming Farnham was the one that had tipped Hearst off to Seth's relationship with Miss Garrett, and absolutely annihilated E.B. Farnham. So Farnham was in no fit state to give his speech, and because Al wanted to make a little bit of a power play towards Mr. Hearst, he decided to cancel the speeches for that evening. And speaking of which, we started to see that Al and Mr. Hearst will probably lock horns this season. I was thinking about it the other day, and the only real adversaries left for Al are now Cy and Mr. Hearst, so one of these two has got to be the primary antagonists of season 3, if not both of them, now that Mr. Walcott is thankfully hung out of the picture. And as always, I'm looking forward to this, so without further ado, this is episode 2 of season 3 of Deadwood, I Am Not the Fine Man You Take Me For. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. Al looking absolutely sleepless as always.
I lost at the wheel, and the flake got washed up. I drank the fuck away.
Well, that is your fault for drinking and gambling away all your horse money.
I owe $9 to a whore.
Did he just break his own neck? That looked like a nasty fall. Damn. He did break his own neck. Of all the deaths in Deadwood, this is potentially the most unfortunate one so far.
Would you close your flap that I don't forgo my boiled eggs?
I second Al's request there. Do not come outside with your ass flap open. The amount of wax sealing I've witnessed thanks to this show and Game of Thrones. I really want a wax seal for the letters that I don't send to anybody.
I don't like this tea.
Too cool?
It's too weak.
I do not make weak tea.
I wonder if last episode he was lying then when he said it was very good.
I like mine unusually strong.
You might have said, Seth, it's an easy thing to fix.
You're right.
I'm not a mind reader.
I've said it now.
Trouble on the home front, guys. Even small scenes like this make me think, oh fuck, I'm never getting married.
I could wish your symptoms further remitted.
I find your answer vague.
Yeah, that was pretty vague. What does that mean?
You don't do as well as I'd hoped.
Yeah, you said the same thing the first time, just in different language.
Your symptoms make it prudent to intervene.
Oh, what? She's gonna lose her kid?
With pain at the abdomen, argues against further delay.
That's brutal. So what happens if she does lose the baby in this circumstance? Does it need to get cut out, or how does that work?
I should be back in about an hour and a half's time.
The doc must be concerned if he's making such regular visits to her as well. Ellsworth doesn't look happy about it.
If we know Hearst is coming, boss, why the fuck don't we strike first?
From the moment we leave the forest, Dan.
So what did he think Hearst's gonna do? Like actually try and attack one of them? What did he mean by that? What would Hearst's next plan of action be? I did say he said a few things to Al last episode which sounded like threats, so maybe he does mean directly, physically.
Whiskey, Captain?
Captain does not look like he's in a whiskey mood.
Morning, Miss Sunshine.
Morning, Cy.
Even though Cy probably will not die from this, it's just good to see him in a weakened state, not being able to do much.
Thank God I took this book up again.
If it really brings you peace, then I'm glad.
What a bunch of bullshit. There is no way Cy is a practicing Christian now, after being shanked by one.
I had a gun to my ear at Shaughnessy's yesterday.
The hell are you doing at Shaughnessy?
As if that's his question after she told him she was feeling suicidal. His first question is about loyalty and not for her well-being. What a prick.
Turning from your gift and your training.
When you speak, I feel like it's the devil talking.
You and me both, Johnny.
Try to stay afloat from a fucking sickbed. have to listen to something like that.
It's long overdue you had to listen to something like that as well. Don't seem so shocked.
We died, Johnny. Start walking, you asshole. Start walking.
This is the woman that was strung out on heroin last time, wasn't she? She doesn't look like she's improved any.
Slept inside in case you wasn't aware. Miss Stubbs' request. Thought you'd try someone competent keeping watch.
Is she trying to compete with this guy as to who's the better security?
For the day, off the bottle, and about to bathe.
That's good to hear. Jane's trying to keep herself sharp and clean. I hope she manages to stay off the drink.
I ain't got one fucking scintilla of an idea what these marks mean.
What if that's the door of our joint?
That is a weird letter for Hearst to be sending. I'm not sure if that's a treasure map, if it's a prediction of which dead bodies inside Al's place will happen. A very confusing message there.
From outside, at your post near the shitter.
Not the best post to have, but you know.
Could you have been born, Richardson, and not egg hatched as I've always assumed?
His list of insults for this poor guy just never end, do they? Egg hatched as I had always assumed. Wow.
We all ought to speak with one voice, and our words should be, turn out the maniac Bullock, who set upon the mayor.
He's gonna use his mayor speech to shit on Seth just because he beat his ass. I don't know if the town's gonna side with you on this one, Farnham. Seth is a pretty good sheriff. I put him kicking your ass into the positives column of his sheriffhood.
I'd like to use your ointment to suffocate you.
I mean, you can always tell the true character of a man by how they treat their lessers, and that's just so telling of Farnham, the way he talks down to this guy all the time, that he's a real piece of shit human being. You'll only ever see him be respectful and pleasant to people that he sees as more powerful than himself. Adversarial to those he sees as his equals, and condescending to those he sees as his lessers.
Whiskey. Beer.
Uh-oh, these guys seem like they're on some different shit.
Just bring my whiskey. Fucking beer.
Hearst has definitely sent these guys.
On your heels? You friends with these boys, fellas?
Oh, it's the positions of these guys, so it was like a warning almost. Yes, they were ready.
I'll drink after I've had.
Not the time you want the deputy to be walking in on you, but it was justified. Those two guys were definitely there for beef.
If I could control even one of my vices, believe me, I'd have kept the house myself.
That's a good excuse by Silas, even though it was basically ordered by Al that Saul got his house.
Oh no. That's what these are for.
The spit handshake kinda seems more noble than a written bit of paper contract, but it's certainly not as hygienic.
I named my ward Sophia, inherit her. I've heard her.
What the fuck? She's talking like she's about to die. She better not.
Wouldn't Mr. Bullock be present to accept?
Ellsworth getting a bit jealous there. I think it makes sense that she's done that. Bullock would be a very good steward to Sophia if she had to take over the claim.
There's a child I know.
Sophia.
That's cool Jane's actually doing this.
I always spoke of him as Armstrong, because he seemed puffed up to me.
She's doing a very good job of keeping this politically correct and parentally friendly so far.
Go ahead.
That's cool, so that makes more sense. So she sobered herself up and bathed just because she knew she'd be presenting her story to these kids today. Shows the respect Jane has for the youth.
Why did you say, uh-oh?
It's the sheriff that beat you.
That guy said a very justified uh-oh then. Farnham's demeanour definitely changed when he learned it was Seth. He doesn't want round two.
To where his man's throat cut, he picks the fucking fish.
What's the significance of that? Why would picking fish be a bad option after having two of your guys' throats cut?
My wife would like to see you.
Ellsworth said that through gritted teeth. He does not like that she has brought up Seth.
Just to get him to turn around, which he did, to tell me get out of his tent.
She's really good at doing this story.
Listen, and you won't get scalped.
It's a good lesson.
He traveled with a dozen caged animals like you'd see in some zoo in the East.
She's literally in her element. In another life, Jane would have been a brilliant teacher.
Wider. Not you.
Was Trixie being like a stand-in there for Miss Garrett?
Given his history with Hearst, I'd spare Mr. Ellsworth that indignity.
I understand.
Well, at least that was a somewhat civil conversation there. God, Ellsworth is really at odds with Seth right now. Surely he's understanding of the situation and also realises she only wed him to spare Seth's wife the embarrassment of knowing about their, get-together. I can lip read that. Why is Trixie so confused? I'm a terrible lip reader as well, but that was definitely I bought the house.
Please remind Sophia that the full moon is in 2 days.
Is Sophia a werewolf? The one thing I'm confused about is why would Hearst send these guys but then also warn Ali was sending them?
It wasn't like a decision you made to have the murders while I was signing the papers.
You've no idea how fucking badly you're boring me.
Silas is definitely wrong on that one.
Ask the fella who made them X's if he hires out for portraits.
It's a good way of saying his exes were pretty accurate.
What's Al doing?
Like I fucking know.
If it was trailing water, we might get took for ducklings.
You guys are just being a good gang, yeah? You gotta follow the leader, see what he's busy with.
It's written in awkward hand.
Come watch the speeches with me on my veranda.
Is he making the veranda as we speak? Hearst loves this sledgehammer.
To do so is my sacred responsibility.
Whores currently disseminating a dose, for example.
Back in the days when journalists treated what they did as a sacred responsibility. That's definitely a dead phrase in that industry.
You've an interest in the truth, meaning up to a fucking point. Slightly more than us others may be.
Al makes a fair point as well. He cares about the truth to a point.
People tried keeping their thoughts to themselves.
I'm sure every mailman's grumbled that at some point.
If, while I'm on that goddamn platform, you could station outside her place.
I don't see why Mrs. Garrett would need a guard, but at least to keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't turn for the worse. I'm still calling her Miss Garrett. She is now Mrs. Ellsworth. She'll always be Mrs. Garrett to me, though.
Don't care whatever you mean. Readied as you were yesterday, only to have the event deferred.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Given your speech, has your bowels in upheaval?
Oh, bowel issues.
Overturning turtles is my specialty.
As if there's a giant sign for no spitting on the floor. Surely if you miss the spittoon, it's an ass whipping.
How do you make it through?
Go on, girl, get out.
This poor woman needs immediate help to get off these drugs or she is not going to survive long.
7 times through, Alma.
She looks 10 times worse than Miss Garrett.
I trust you not to modify my instructions.
To the letter, Doc.
Is she getting the child taken out of her now, so the baby is definitely dead?
Turn your head away from the cloth and breathe.
Oh, this is going to be brutal. Add this to the list of medical procedures Deadwood has shown me I never wanted to see.
I would just assume that you not fucking pass out.
Wow, the tension is high in this room right now. Understandably. I hope this goes smoothly.
Mrs. Ellsworth is being seen to by Dr. Cochran.
Will she really want to hear this? Will she be actually sympathetic, maybe?
And we'll both pray for Mrs. Ellsworth.
Oh, that's cool. She took it very well. She could have been really petty about that, but she was cool.
Go on then. Spend time finding a spine to put the bullet in your brain.
Let's hope Miss Garrett makes a full recovery, but Cy dies in his fucking bed, clutching the Bible he doesn't believe in. It would be a crazy plot twist if this does actually turn him religious, though.
When is when?
You are a fucking stitch.
The guy delivered that line like the Penguin from Batman.
Gentlemen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Reverend.
Nice, this priest demands respect after shanking Cy. Nobody has respected religion more than the people of Deadwood right now.
And he creamed. That stabbed you. He's outside with Leon, sir. Is he? Yes, sir. Just come in.
There's no way Cy's gonna want peace here. I would be so shocked. Cy strikes me as a guy that would never let this shit slide though. He might lull him into a false sense of security and pretend he's found religion and then kill him anyway. It's how I see Cy handling this. It's been a while since we saw Charlie and Joni have a good sit down and a chat. They were good friends in season 2.
I'd say overall. Though I'll never shit again without pain.
I'm sorry.
Permanent pain is a good outcome.
I denied you'd been called. Treated you like the shitbag fucking operator you used to be.
See, this is when I do not believe a word Cy is saying. There's no way he's gonna let this slide like this.
Could you read verse 31 for me?
I'm just not buying this. I think this is a larger plan by Cy to get back at this priest in some way.
With forgiveness in your fucking heart.
I fucking knew it.
If only you'd hold me. I believe I could walk.
You walked in on his big murder speech. What an interrupter.
You got to come to him wholehearted, even when you're asking for partial relief.
I do not get Cy's angle in this scene, but I swear he's planning on killing the priest. He's got to be.
I'll speak to you another time.
No!
Wow, he let him leave. What is going on right now?
Any argument for us accompanying you over there, boss?
Don't strike the right note. Going over there with seconds.
I'll better be careful going there by himself.
If I could, I'd tear my skin off. If I could, I'd put out my eyes.
What a horrible thing to say. Charlie won't like hearing this shit.
I just met him once at the Bellet. That poker with Jack McCall.
Did you like Bill that night?
How could you not? Bill was a consummate gentleman.
I felt he had a good soul.
He did miss those.
So crazy his shadow still looms so large. We're in season 3 now, and he was only in 4 episodes, and I still miss Wild Bill Hickok.
Maybe you oughtn't to stand judge, jury, and every other job in court on your own personal case.
Good piece of advice from Charlie there. She should give herself a break. She's had a rough life, and it's not her fault. And she's still got a gangster-ass top hat. Gotta look on the bright side.
Let's hear the speeches together.
Show me your hole in the wall.
A literal hole in the wall in this case.
To take root and grow deep, that gathering to this end.
I like a balcony though. I can't hate Hearst's choice. Get a couple deck chairs out there, you'll be chilling.
Candidates for mayor. E.B. Farnham from Saul Star. The incumbent will address us first.
I was curious as to whether or not they were the only 2 candidates. It seems like they are.
I give no long speech tonight. You know me and my works.
I don't think your mouth would hold up for a long speech tonight, Farnham.
Slaves. To work for crumbs or to keep from the lash says maybe a slave's what you are.
They're having a very respectful power struggle right now.
Would the grip have been the part you were versed with?
I was born to neither power nor money.
Such an interesting dynamic. I really hope Al wins, but I know how powerful Mr. Hearst is and, you know, was in history.
Farnham!
I love how half the crowd isn't paying attention to Farnham. There's still so much talking in amongst one another and shit while he's trying to give his epic speech. And he didn't do his whole bit he had planned about how Bullock shouldn't be sheriff, so that's a bonus at least.
I just bought a house and plan to live here as long as God gives me.
Neither of these guys seem like they're the best public speakers, which is nowadays all you really need to be a politician. Unless you're George Bush, then you can get voted in without even having that skill.
That's Captain Turner. At 3 steps removed, he has heard about your knife work close in.
Good. Al's knife work is kind of legendary in Deadwood at this point. He is skilled at getting a blade in you.
Not throwing my hands up or my skirt over my head don't mean I ain't awestruck.
So this is taking a different turn than I was expecting. I didn't think Hearst would threaten him like that. I wonder if Dan or any of those guys will spot that something was up there and he had a gun pointed at him.
I'm glad he's standing for office, and I'd try to be as good a sheriff as he'd be a mayor to the camp.
That's cool. Seth going to bat for Saul 100%. I would expect nothing less.
Even on the sorriest of days.
That was kind of a good speech, I guess, Seth. Ended on a bit of a downer, but you know, we are in Deadwood.
The claim now owned by Mrs. Ellsworth. I am told that you can help me bring this about.
Wow!
This is a grip I'm used to.
I wasn't expecting them to threaten him like this. Oh, shit! Well, Mr. Hearst has definitely shown his true colours this season. I did not think he was capable of this shit last season. Obviously, I only met him briefly, but the stance he took on Walcott had a strong forming of my opinion on him, which he's completely destroyed these first 2 episodes of Season 3. And Dan and those guys will not be happy this is what's happened to Al either.
Think about what you heard here tonight, and thank you again.
The speeches were kind of lacklustre. All the best drama was to be had in the rooms around the place where the speeches were taking place. I'd say Saul's speech was still better than Farnham's though. I would go so far as to say his speech was a bit pathetic.
Trixie says he wasn't scowling how he does, or shaking his jowls like a bulldog.
Well, that is a good sign. When things go bad, the doc definitely shakes his jowls like a bulldog.
That man appears worse hurt than I am. Bless his heart.
What happened?
Oh, fuck you, Si.
First one to touch me, I kill.
So Al is telling them not to go straight away to attack him. I wonder why. He doesn't seem to have that much muscle around him right now. This might be the best time to get him. Okay, and that was episode 2 of season 3 of Deadwood. I am not the fine man you take me for, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, episode 2, what did I think of that? Well, thank God Mrs. Garrett is seemingly going to survive her surgery. I'm assuming that was the doc taking the baby, which was not going to survive out of her, so now Miss Garrett is officially no longer pregnant. But as long as she survives, I'll be happy. I guess, to be honest, the fact that this is the final season, the show doesn't really have enough legs left in it for that baby to become any sort of important storyline later on. So although it's tragic, of course, that she's lost a child, it's not as bad as it could have been, because the way I see it, they're sort of trying to start to wrap things up, and that child would have been a more long-term storyline. It's more interesting to see how Miss Garrett handles this, if she recovers and recuperates, and how she moves on from here. But yeah, she was giving speeches this episode like she herself thought she was going to die. She was already passing over the claim to Sophia and naming Bullock as the overseer until she reached adulthood, etc. She obviously thought her days might be numbered, so I would just love to see Miss Garrett survive. She's a great character, and it would be kind of a fucked up way for her to go out. We finally got round to seeing the speeches. Like I said, they were a bit lacklustre. Farnham only spoke for 30 seconds. Saul Starr didn't really need to speak for too long to top that. Farnham's speech wasn't that great anyway. Saul Starr's speech was kind of not the best either. Both of them clearly not the greatest at public speaking, but I think if I had to choose right now, I would definitely vote Saul. But then I would have said that before they gave any speech anyway, just knowing the characters of the two men who were up for the position of mayor. I wonder what Si's game was with the priest in that scene. Like, was he just trying to intimidate him and let him know he wasn't as weak as he seemed, or was he really going to kill him until that guy interrupted their interaction there? I don't know why he would produce a gun and point it at the priest if he wasn't going to kill him then and there, because if anything, that's just giving the priest a heads up that he has ill intentions towards him. Who knows what's going on in Si's head, but unfortunately he seems like he is on the mend, back on his feet at the end to see the speeches, laughing at Al being in pain. So it looks like it's going to be a while before we see the death of Cy Tolliver, unfortunately. But yeah, I would say the main thing from this episode was first of all the strange power play that Hearst gave Al by letting him know which two men in the bar were going to be trying to attack him, giving him the heads up, but then offering him to witness the speeches from the balcony, taking him inside, threatening him, getting the captain to pistol whip him, and then hammering his hand. I mean, that is a declaration of absolute war. Still confused as to why Al told these guys not to instantly retaliate, because just now it just seems like it is Mr. Hearst and that one captain guy. At least in that housing property, very easy for Al and Dan and a few of the other guys to go in there right now and take care of that problem. Maybe he thinks it'll lead to a bigger problem if he puts hands on Mr. Hearst. Obviously he's incredibly powerful, but as the Untouchables taught us, everyone is touchable, and right now Mr. Hearst just doesn't have the bodies around him to guarantee his safety. If it comes to war, he is in trouble. So if anything, he should be thanking Al that Al didn't just tell all his goons straight away to go and kill him for that. But of course, Mr. Hearst is a smart man. He probably wouldn't have done what he did if he thought that would be the outcome. But the power struggle is now 100% on. They have officially locked horns. Who knows where it goes from here, but I cannot wait to see it. I just hope Al comes out on top. And it was also great to see Jane give her account of working as a scout for Custer to the classroom. She did a great job, and it also showed how much it meant to her that she was sober for the day before she did it and that she took a bath before it. Two things Jane hates doing, but she made sure she had done both before she went to speak to the children, which shows the level of respect and consideration she has toward the next generation. And she did a great job and was actually very personable. And as I said, in a different life she would have made a great teacher. Alas, she's a hardcore cowboy. But for a day, she was brilliant at just telling a cool story to them kids. And yeah, bring on episode 3. I literally can't wait. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.